As everybody may or may not know, I'm Mark Thompson. I'm the broadcaster, media relations director for the Royals. I've been here, this will be my 13th year. I hope it to be lucky number 13 as we get ready to try to bring another championship back for minor professional hockey to Reading. The purpose of our press conference today is to introduce a few new people who are part of the Royals organization now, and also to introduce a bit of the restructuring that we have going with the organization as well. Let me introduce everybody first of all once again. And Calvin, I think we're getting a little bit of feedback on the PA here. So everybody knows Jack Galati, who's the owner of the Royals and Chief Executive Officer. We've got Ray Melcher, who's been serving as the interim general manager of the Royals since late March of 2017. I've already introduced Patrick Weller, who is our assistant coach. We do have Kirk McDonald with us as well via Skype, who's in Nova Scotia enjoying his honeymoon. And many of you have been around minor professional hockey in this region for any amount of time. Know Doug Yingst, longtime general manager, president of the Hershey Bears. And with that introduction, I'll start with Mr. Galati here as we're getting ready for the 17th season of Royals hockey. Mr. Galati.
Thank you, Mark. Welcome to everybody. Glad to have you all. We don't hold these press conferences too often, but whenever we do, it's something of importance. Today, I'm pleased to announce our 17-18 and therefore thereafter restructuring of the management team at the Reading Royals. Some of these people will speak here a little bit later, and I'll let them do their own introduction or substance. But I just want to address a few things, if I may. As many of you know, I recently had purchased a team in Texas, Allen Americans in Allen, Texas. If there's any doubt, Reading is our home. I'm fully committed to the Reading. And as far as I'm concerned, the city of Reading and the success of the Royals hockey team are tied together. That's the only reason I bought the team was to keep it in Reading. And so you can be sure that Reading will be a major part of my two teams. Obviously, the purpose of the hockey team in any city is to provide significant entertainment, significant revenue, significant operations. And we believe that even the last 3 years that I've owned the team, we have done that. We've made a substantial contribution to our community in the Reading. And some of you may not know, Reading Royal have a charity. We call it a Royal Charity. And last year alone, we gave out $280,000 to charitable organizations, charitable causes. Most people do not know that because we normally stay under the cover in a way. But we need to let the people know that while we're here, provide charitable support, good community support, and good entertainment for our fans and value. Okay. Today, I'm pleased to announce that restructuring of the Royals has been completed. We hired Ray Melcher as an interim general manager in April, and he talked himself into a bigger job. So it reminded me almost of the Bush-Cheney arena. Remember that? You know, Cheney came in to select the vice president candidate for Bush, and he became the vice president candidate. So it's almost reminding me of that one, but maybe not to that magnitude. But today I'm pleased to announce that Ray Melcher is going to serve as our Chief Operating Officer of Reading and Royals. I'm sorry, Reading and Allen. And he's also going to serve as a General Manager for the Reading Royals. So he has a big task to do, and I know he's committed to getting it done. Ray has been in the Reading community for 45 years, and obviously is very well connected. Some of you do not know, please introduce yourself and get to know him a little bit. He has done many, many things in Reading, and I'll let him tell us that. Next, I want to announce that Doug Yingst has decided to come to the Reading Royals as a special advisor on hockey ops. And his background is 34 years in Hershey. Have won 5 times Golden Cup winner, and done marvelous jobs in Hershey. And if you've been to Hershey, they're sold out every game. And so Doug is going to help us not only manage the hockey operations, but put more butts in the seats, give us some ideas to do that as well. Okay, so he's going to be a good addition to it. He's also an AHL Hall of Famer, so we have good company here. And Kirk is going to be here by video, but as you know, we appointed Kirk as head coach of the Reading Royals. And Kirk, of course, was the team captain in the Kelly Cup win that we had in 2013. And we're just pleased that he could join us, and we're able to address more on that. Lastly, we have hired Pat Wheeler as an assistant hockey coach. Pat has such a glorified background, you won't believe it. He's a 4-time championship winner, 3 times in ECHL with Reading Royals. He played for Reading Royals when we won the championship. He has played with Alaska, hockey, ECHL, and South Carolina. And then he won 1 time at AHL before retiring. So we're just thrilled to have Pat join our organization. Only thing I will add to this is, you know, I'm surrounded by the people that have big rings on their fingers. This guy doesn't have enough fingers to have the championship ring that he has. Pat, the same way. Doug with Kirk is the same way. Even Mark, where are you, Mark? He has that ring. It's only me and Ray that don't have. So our commitment is, let me get those rings, guys. I need it. I need it. My pair of fingers are empty, you know. So I need those rings. And Ray and I are committed to bring the championship back to Reading as well. Okay. I want to thank you all again, and let me introduce to you Dave Nelson.
Thank you, Jack. Nice job. I'd like to start out by thanking Mark Thompson for arranging today's conference. He does a great job with these things, and for all of you who received his communications. You know he's a first-class pro communicating on our behalf. So thank you very much, Mark and Calvin and everybody else that you engaged to help bring us together today. And thank all of you for being here. I'm going to tell you about 4 months ago, when Jack asked me to step in as the interim general manager, I never expected to be standing here today talking to you, and at least not standing here talking about the topic that I'm talking about. Pretty far from anything I thought was a possibility. And even though during the 4 months I've been here, I've had a fair number of people, fans and others, say to me, why don't you stay as a general manager? Even the people in Allen, Texas, when I got to know them down there, several of them said, why don't you stay here and be our GM? And I said, no, I'm not interested in being GM of a hockey team. I'm happy to help Jack out. Been a long-time friend and a client, and somebody I consider very special in my life, so he asked me to help. I couldn't say no. But I never expected to be standing here as GM. But there's 2 reasons why I am standing here now as GM. 3 reasons. One is because of Jack. He asked, I listened and I responded. It's hard to say no to him. The second reason is once I got here as the interim GM, I was in awe of how much positive reception I got from everybody. And when I got to know the management team, like Mark Wallace standing back there, who you all know, Mark Thompson, and Greg Lewis, and Heather Hefty at the time, and everybody else here, I realized that this is a pretty special group. They had every reason to reject me, or at least not openly accept me, being that I wasn't a hockey guy, I wasn't a sports management guy by history. And they could very easily have said, what does this guy know? Let's find somebody who knows something about hockey. But they didn't. They recognized that I had something to add to the process, and they embraced me and allowed me to become part of the Royals organization in an effective way pretty quickly. And And then the third reason that I'm here today is because of Doug Yingst. When it became clear that we needed a GM here and we weren't finding exactly what we wanted, and I promised many of you over the 4 months I was here that when we did have a GM announcement, it would have some impact. Doug's the guy that I wanted to announce. He's the guy that 3-4 months ago we met, and he had retired from Hershey Bears. He was available, and I was hell-bent on getting Doug Yingst to be standing here as your GM. Unfortunately, because of other commitments in his life and issues that he's dealing with, he couldn't commit to the full-time rigors of being the general manager of the Royals. However, as we talked and became friends and compared notes on what we think about business and all, it became clear that he wanted to be part of the Royals, and he wanted to be part of the Royals in a very serious way. So it took a few months of discussions and planning and reviewing all the options, and the result is that because Doug finally agreed, we agreed together for him to come on board to head up the hockey ops side of the business, which will include things like league relations, working with the Flyers on our connection there, and then helping with anything else that has to do with the overall team. It's because of Doug agreed to do that that I agreed to be GM. Without Doug sitting here, I wouldn't have accepted his GM position. I really needed a guy like Doug Yingst, who knows, I sort of know what I don't know, and what I do know is that he knows what I don't know. So together, we're going to function largely like co-GMs, not officially, but from the way we discussed our intentions, we will function as co-GMs. Me on the business side, I'll be working on the finance and accounting, ticket sales, marketing, all those business kind of activities, putting people in the seats, generating financial results. And Doug's going to work hard on the hockey operations to make sure we put the best hockey team on the ice we can possibly put, and to make sure that our relationship with, like the league and the Flyers and other constituents, is as strong and powerful and helpful as it can be. And we hope by combining our activities, you're going to get good results that you'll be proud of. And Jack and I will be the last two people to get rings. Finally, that's our goal, is to get Kelly Cup rings on everybody involved with the program. So I'm here because of Doug. I think you know Doug's background, so I'm not going to say a lot about it. There's a press release that you will have, if you don't have it yet, that details his background, but Jack said some of it. He's won 4 Calder Cups. 4, is that right? 5 Calder Cups. He's in the AHL Hall of Fame. In his own right as an athlete, going way back to his high school. He's in his high school Hall of Fame for multiple sports. In the world of minor league hockey, Doug is probably universally across the country considered the top minor league hockey executive in the United States. We've talked to people pretty far afield from Pennsylvania, and you say Doug Yingst, and they go, oh, Doug Yingst, I know Doug, or I know of Doug, or Doug's reputation precedes him. And he is really a top-level hockey executive, par excellence, probably unparalleled. And for us to have him as part of our team in a meaningful executive role is a huge, huge positive for the Reading Royals. And for Berks County, because everything he touches and does benefits everybody around him. And I'm sure his influence and positives about him will also benefit Berks County in ways we don't know yet. So with that introduction, I would like to introduce Doug as my co-GM, and meet Doug Yingst.
Thanks, Ray. It's an honor for me to be here. I'm excited about this opportunity. My history with Reading actually goes back 17, 18 years ago when I met with Albert Boskov and the search committee on behalf of Hershey, and having some interest in having an ECHL franchise here. And then certainly we've been affiliated with Reading most recently from Hershey in 2013 when we won the Kelly Cup. The beginnings of these actually began this summer when Brian McKenna called me, and I was still chairman of the committee of the American Hockey League, and working at Lebanon Valley College as the director of corporate athletic relations. And Brian and I have been friends for 30 years, and he asked me how I was doing, and called me a day later and said, would I ever be interested in getting back in hockey? And so I certainly miss certain aspects. I can't do what I was doing before, and they've titled this special advisor, and it's actually a senior advisor because of my age. opportunity to meet Jack and to meet Ray, and the relationship grew from there. And, so I decided an advisory position. I would love the opportunity to assist wherever I can assist. I met some of the Reading staff here, and firm believer, you surround yourself with good people, and there's good people here. And then when Pat Weller, it was, I don't know how many times we signed him, but one too many. But anyway, when Pat decided to come on board, and I don't think there's a classier person than Pat Weller, I thought, you know what, I'm going to join the ranks in an advisory position and provide advice and assistance when needed and called upon by Ray and the staff. And hopefully everything comes to fruition, becomes a success. And I'm looking forward to it and can't wait to begin. So thanks for your attendance. It's an outstanding attendance today, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. I just want to wrap up my part with a couple of introductions to make sure that we don't miss these. We don't have a real big staff. I don't know how big we may appear to be in terms of staff on the outside from a fan's perspective, but it's not a lot of people who do an awful lot of work. So I just want to thank those people who are here today. We have Sean over here, who's our athletic director, who takes care of the players who have injuries and tries to keep them healthy. Very complicated job working on workers' comp claims, and as you know, hockey players get hurt. So Sean, thanks for everything you do. Jason McDonald sitting behind him is our equipment manager. You may not see Jason that much. He's down on the bows, making sure the players have skates that are sharpened and equipment that fits and all the parts you're supposed to have, and keeping track of everything. When they travel, he's the guy that packs up the bus and unpacks the bus. The players, being confident that everything they need to play and win will be there because of Jason. Thank you for that, Jason. Long hours. He's here at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning when they get back from trips, unloading the bus and doing things. He's one of those guys that you don't see him working, but boy, he works. Jen Reeser sitting there. She's been with us a number of years. She's in the finance department. Greg Lewis up there, who most of you know. Greg runs the store, and he's in charge of merchandising, and he is now officially in charge of our marketing department. And I'm pleased to say that along with me, Greg will also have responsibility for Allen, Texas, and he'll be building out their merchandising and store operations down there to make it better and bigger and stronger. So even though his focus and time and attention will be here largely, he is overseeing that and going to manage that process. We've got three of our ticket guys there. We have Chris and Ryan and Matt. You probably know all of them. They're the guys that are in charge of selling tickets, and that's our number one objective. Number one for the coming year is we need to sell more tickets of all kinds and get more people sitting in that arena every night. And these guys and others who are going to help them do that are going to be working very, very hard. They're really the guts of the sales operation right there. They're really good guys. Over here we have Jake and Dakota in the back, also ticket guys. Dakota's moved over largely into the corporate sales and sponsorship area. Jake also works with those guys on ticket sales. And we're going to have Jake also helping out with some game night planning and operations to help elevate that whole process, make it a better fan experience for everybody. Mark Wallace back there, you all know Mark. He heads up the corporate sales and sponsorships area, and he's currently overseeing the individual ticket and group sales operation also. Did I forget anybody that's here? What did I miss? Oh, Sam's behind Brian behind the camera. You can't see him. Sam joined us not long ago. He's going to be working with Mark Thompson with regard to community engagement, working out in the field, getting us exposed, working with our mascot, putting out press releases, and helping our external branding effort through all forms of external communications. And I didn't mention John Long. John is our brand new CFO. He's been with us about 6 weeks. He's out on another assignment today with having just gotten back from Allen last night, 11:30. He was in Allen the last several days and working on their budget, so he just got back and he's swamped this morning trying to catch up on some of those things there, so he can't be here. But John is going to be a terrific addition to us in the finance and accounting area, and like me and Greg, he also will be overseeing the financial matters in Allen, Texas, and he's spending some of his time down there also. How did I miss anybody? No. Pardon? No. Calvin, okay. Calvin's sitting behind his computer there. Calvin's been with us a while. He's our game ops guy and our creative, what's your title? Creative services guy. The guy that does our graphics and all that. Whenever you see cool graphics on Facebook and social media, Calvin's probably the guy that did the designing and the creation. It's a skill that I only wish I had a little bit of, and I've none of. So I admire guys like Calvin who can take a thought and turn it into something beautiful that can be transmitted and shown. So thank you, Calvin. Now to get everybody. Anyhow, that's only about 14 or 15 of us. Whereas Pat Weller and Kirk, the coaching guys, we'll hear about from in a minute. But we have 14 or 15 who do all the work that has to be done. And I can tell you, it's a lot of work. Thank you for all you do for all of you. And couldn't ask for a better team. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Doug. We're going to hear from Pat Weller in just a moment, but we do have Kirk McDonald via some mechanism here of technology, and I'd like to get a few words from K-Mac. First of all, I do want to congratulate K-Mac. I know there's a lot of broken hearts in the Reading and other areas, but K-Mac married this past weekend. Congratulations on his honeymoon now in Nova Scotia. Very graciously agreed to come out, and if you want, I don't know if you have to turn the audio up when K-Mac, I'm sure he has a word or two about the 2017-18 season. K-Mac, you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's all yours.
No, this is a really exciting time. I think obviously bringing Doug into the fold and with Ray staying on board, I think it's nothing but great things to come. I'm really excited to be working with everybody. A guy I've known for a long time with Weller coming on board as the assistants. It's a really exciting time, and I think there's a lot to look forward to. And all things go to plan. In the next couple of weeks, there's going to be some more signings coming out, and a lot of things to look forward to. Like I said.
Okay, I know you've got 8 guys signed right now. Any transactions that you might want to inform the public about pending on today, or you got anything going on?
There are some things in the works, but nothing that can be announced publicly at this time. Let's put it that way.
Maybe we can update people as we go forward. I want to thank you for taking time, for being with us. Does anybody have a question for K-Mac before I let him go here? Anybody have a question for the head coach of the Royals? All right, with that, K-Mac, I want to thank you again for coming out, man, and best of luck and congratulations again.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Looking forward to seeing you. Next up, I would like to bring Pat Weller up to be his first opportunity to speak to the fans here in Reading and the media. With respect to Pat, he and I know each other from past seasons when he was with the Royals, including our championship season in 2013, when he was actually sent to us from the Hershey Bears that year. And I always bring up this story with respect to Pat. I'm not seeking to embarrass him, but I think it's instructive on who Pat Weller is. We've already heard Doug talk about the character that Pat brings to the table, but I distinctly remember on, I believe it was May 5th, 2013, being in a hotel in Covington, Kentucky, and getting ready for Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cincinnati Cyclones, and learning in the morning that Pat Weller was coming down to the Royals that day from, I think Hershey had just been knocked out of the playoffs, and Pat was coming to us that day for Game 4. We were leading in the series 2-1, and Cincinnati is a team that we have a lot of history with, not all of it good. Some of it was rather negative. And you could feel the vibe with our team that day, that the anxiety and the level of anxiousness of the club was peaking pretty high. And as the broadcaster of the team that travels with the club, I do get an opportunity, and I try not to breach the confidence with the players too frequently, and I try to pick the appropriate moment. But that day, as we were leaving from the hotel in Covington to go across the river into Cincinnati to play the Cyclones in Game 4, I could just feel the nervous energy of the team in a negative way. I was looking around thinking this is a pivotal game in what was proved to be our championship season. And I'll never forget that, I think maybe Pat may have sensed it as well. He just joined the club, fresh with the team, and everybody else was having this nervous dread on their face. Pat jumped onto the bus as we're heading over across the river. He looked around. I think he may have sensed that there was a bit of nervous energy on the bus. Stood up, looked around with this big smile on his face, and said, "Don't worry, boys, we're going to win this one today." And I'll never forget that, because all of a sudden, the entire tenor of the team changed at that moment. And not only did we go out, we get a goal with 11 seconds left in regulation from the Tifu, who, by the way, was the captain of the team that year, to win that game. But Pat Weller, I believe, picked up the assist on what proved to be the game winner in the series decisive game in Cincinnati in Game 5 on a shorthanded goal scored by Kirk McDonald. And with that in mind, I introduce Patrick Weller.
Well, thank you, and thanks for everyone for coming out. I'll keep mine brief. Obviously, the gentleman sitting beside me are a lot more important, but I just want to say how excited and honored I am to be here. So as a player and being in this hockey life, after finishing 12 seasons as a player and my first full time behind the bench with Cincinnati last season, I can tell you how not many people get the opportunity in this business to either play or have this opportunity to coach, especially in what you would consider a hometown. Especially with me being from Saskatchewan, I've called Central Pennsylvania home for essentially 6+ years and a couple summers. So for this, to have this opportunity to come back, I want to thank these gentlemen very much for their consideration. I look forward to the challenge to proving you guys right, hopefully. There's a lot of work to be done, but more importantly, I'm just ultra thrilled to have this opportunity. It is like coming home for me. I care deeply about this organization and about the area. And I want to thank Kirk McDonald for our relationship, and I really look forward to working day-to-day with him. I look forward to the guidance that we'll receive from Doug Yingst. I want to thank Mr. General Pilati for saving this organization, and Ray Melcher for your kind thoughts, and Tomer, you're the best. So I'm thrilled to be here. It's great to see everyone. There's a lot of good things in store ahead. I can't speak enough about the work that Kirk has done behind the scenes and making sure that this team is very competitive. And we'll see you all in October.
Just in closing, I do want to thank everybody again. Mr. Galati, Ray, thank you very much for all your work. Doug, thanks for coming out. Pat, thank you for thank everybody here as well for all of your good work. Very excited for the 17th season of Royals hockey coming up. There is obviously opportunity for individual interviews with everybody. There is a press release that's up here on the dais. Anybody that would like that, we'll send that out through all of the ordinary channels if you prefer to receive it that way as well, through social media and our website as well. But once again, thank you very much for coming out, and we're looking forward to it right here. Thank you.